Recording in progress. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the ASEAN We Score Talk Show. Break records, make history. First of all, my name is Atya Nindita, and I'm very honored to be your MC for today. And thank you for joining us. This campaign is part of the ASEAN Japan Actions on Sports project funded by the Japan ASEAN Integration Fund or JIFE in the light of the Tokyo 2020 Olympic and Paralympic Games. Through this event, ASEAN and Japan hope to strengthen their cooperation by promoting gender equality and women's empowerment in and through sports. This is a hybrid talk show with 10 female sports ambassadors from all 10 ASEAN member states live from Jakarta and Japan on Zoom and YouTube. We will have a conversation with all ambassadors, and if you have any questions to any of our speakers and ambassadors, please just drop your question in the Q&A box if you are on Zoom, or the live chat if you are on YouTube. I am so happy to inform you that on Zoom, we provide interpretation for English, Bahasa Indonesia, Thai, and also ASL Sign Language. Please select the language channel that you want on the Zoom toolbar. Now, to officially open the event, I would like to invite our first speaker, Mr. Tomohiko Arai, as the Director of International Affairs Division, Japan Sports Agency, to deliver some opening messages. Mr. Arai graduated from the Department of Science and Engineering at Waseda University, then entered the Science and Technology Agency in 1997. He has been serving as the Director of International Affairs Division of the Japan Sports Agency, a governmental body under Ministry of Education, Culture, Sports, Science and Technology, or MEX, since August 2020. At the Japan Sports Agency, he has been involved in a wide range of duties covering bilateral and multilateral cooperation for sports and anti-doping, including as the leader of SOMS Japan. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Tomohiko Arai.
Hello, good afternoon from Japan. Your Excellency, Mr. Ekobab Pantavon, the Deputy Secretary General of ASEAN for Socio-Cultural Community, women sports ambassadors, sports personnel of each ASEAN member state, and others. My name is Tom Arai. I'm the Director for the International Affairs Division, Japan Sports Agency. I'm delighted to be here today. I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to His Excellency, Mr. Pandavon, and the ASEAN Secretariat for hosting today's event. ASEAN and Japan have long had a close relationship in the field of sports, and we have been holding the ASEAN plus Japan Ministerial Meeting on Sports or Senior Officials Meeting on Sports every year since 2017. We remember today's event was introduced at the third ASEAN plus Japan Ministerial Meeting on Sports and the fourth Senior Officials Meeting on Sports that was held in this October. We are honored to be invited to today's event. Among sports cooperation between ASEAN and Japan, women in sports is definitely one of the key areas. In order to achieve gender equality in sports, the discussion meeting, we held this discussion meeting with the stakeholders on the occasion of the Asian Games in Indonesia in 2018, and the first ASEAN plus Japan meeting on women and sports in Philippines in October 2019. The ASEAN Japan workshop on promoting gender equality in sports was held online during the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games this summer in collaboration with the Japan Sports Agency and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. In the workshop, government officials from each country and the next generation of women sport leaders gathered and presented ideas for action plans that could be discussed and further discussed and implemented in each country. I hope the discussion among the stakeholders will make progress through exchanging views on these action plans, and that ASEAN will take steps for the gender equal society through sports. I also look forward to further strengthening the close relationship between ASEAN and Japan. I hope today's event will lively and productive, and it will further boost cooperation and action in the field of women in sports between ASEAN and Japan. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tomohiko Arai, for the opening message. Of course, we're very happy to have you in this very important event for today. All right, moving on, I would like to introduce our guest speaker, Miss Aya Noguchi from Juntendo University. She is the woman behind the success of ASEAN Japan workshop on promoting gender equality in sports held back in August 2021. She is an assistant professor at Juntendo University Faculty of Health and Sports Science, and also the co-director of Sports for Creating Pathways Japan, which aims to create a safe space in which individuals can freely be themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Ms. Aya Noguchi.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Aya Noguchi from Juntendo University, Faculty of Health and Sports Science. Thank you very much for inviting me this such a great event. I'm very honored to be here. This summer, during the Tokyo 2020 Olympic and Paralympic Games, Japan Sports Agency and ASEAN Secretariat hosted the workshop for promoting gender equality in sports. My organization, Japanese Center for Research on Women in Sports, was an implementing partner for this event. So I was a project leader for the workshop. So today I'm going to share the overview of the workshop and some remarkable results. Oh, okay. Hi. Sorry. Japan Sports Agency and the ASEAN Secretariat hosted a 4-day workshop on women and sports in August during the Tokyo 2020s under the title ASEAN Japan Workshop on Promoting Gender Equality in Sports. The workshop had 2 objectives. The first objective was to help each government to prepare a visible action plan for improving the participation of women and girls in sports. The second objective was to foster female sports leaders who lead the development of women's sports in each country. A total of 71 persons, including guests and observers, participated in these 2 workshops. Please, next slide. The 2 workshops, Policy Development Workshop for Policymakers and Leadership Development Workshop for Young Women. So Policymakers Workshop highlighted in red and Leadership Development Workshop highlighted in blue were held at the same time to achieve 2 different objectives. A mixed session, which is highlighted in green, was held during the workshop so that opinions from young women are reflected in action plans to be prepared by government officials. At the Policy Development Workshop for Policymakers, the lectures were given together with theories of gender issues in sports, and the participants discussed the issue in their countries, as well as strategies and effort for solving them. Moreover, each country created a policy-level action plan for improvement of the participation of women in sports. They had discussions beyond the broader and adapted opinions from young women into policies. In the leadership development workshop for young women, a session was held with a particular focus on advocacy skills, which is a skill to propose policies based on analysis of the social issues. Among leadership skills to understand the use of advocacy for improving gender issues in each country. The participants learned necessary communication tools and skills for participating advocacy through lectures and created actual plans. Finally, the participants shared what they could learn from the workshop and what type of leaders they would like to become. The mixed session was constructive and meaningful because all participants shared a policy development framework created by policymakers with young women. Also, they proposed some action they expect each country to include in its policy from the perspective of young generations. Next slide, please. These are a few pictures from the workshop. We had a lot of small group discussion to stimulate conversation among different groups, such as same country group discussion and different country group discussion. We also used the online workshop toolkit, such as Jamboard and Padlet. We believed both participants from Young Leaders Workshop and Policymakers Workshop enjoyed and found useful using this online toolkit. Next slide, please. The global, could you go back one slide? Okay. The global lecturers who have experience in Africa, Europe, and US and Japan served as the workshop facilitators. I'm going to introduce a few of them. Dr. Guylaine Dimans, she's a faculty member of Laval University in Canada, who received IOC Women's Sports Award in 2020, served as the main facilitator of the policy development workshop for policymakers. On the other hand, Dr. Lombe Muamba, who is working for the Zambian University, who represented also NAUSPA, which is a non-governmental organization in Zambia working for gender equality in sports. She served as a main facilitator of the leadership development workshop for young women. And finally, Ms. Marisa Schrenker took the junior facilitator's role for both workshops. She was from the United States living in Germany. She was engaged in many different sports for development projects. Since she joined both workshops, she mainly coordinated mixed session, which was one of the best part of our workshop, delivering young women's voices to policymakers. Next slide, please. The lecture given in the morning on the second day was open symposium. Approximately 300 people from Japan and other countries participated in the symposium. This is a picture of everyone who contributed to the open symposium. Next slide, please. The open symposium began with the opening remarks by Dr. Koji Murofushi, Commissioner of Japan Sports Agency. In part one, 3 lecturers gave a talk under the theme Women and Sports in Asia. Ms. Rodora Turubabaran, Director of Human Development Directors, Socio-Cultural Community Department, ASEAN Secretariat, gave a talk under the title, Why do ASEAN Member States Need a Women's Sports Policy? Then Dr. Etsuko Ogasawara, Executive Director of J. Cruz at Juntendo University, gave a lecture under the title, Historical Movement in Women's Sports in Asia, referring to her own activities. Moreover, Mr. Jamshed Kazi, a representative and liaison to ASEAN UN Women Indonesia, gave a facilitating talk under the title, The Contribution of Sports to SDGs Goal 5. Dr. Kaori Yamaguchi, Professor, University of Tsukuba, she's also a bronze medalist at Seoul Olympic Games in 1988. who was an Olympian and served as a JOC board member, and Miss Nenga Widashi, para powerlifting Tokyo 2020 Olympic and Paralympic Indonesian national teams, talked about their role models in part 2, a panel talk on the impact of the women's role models. In part 3, Mr. Kozo Tashima, president of Japan Football Association, presented the collaboration with the Football Association in Asia and activities for promoting the participation of women under the title Current Initiatives in Japan. Finally, closing remarks made by Ms. Kae Ishikawa, Director of UN Women Japan Liaison Office. Next slide, please. Here are outcomes of this event. We could obtain the following outcomes. The 10 ASEAN member states worked together to take an action for promoting gender equality in sports. The 10 ASEAN member states created at least one action plan. We provided an opportunity where stakeholders responsible for policies related to women and sports get together and have discussion in each country. One participant commented, "We haven't had a workshop like this and it was very meaningful." So this workshop got together all stakeholders to discuss about women and sport issues in each country. Young women analyzed gender issues in sports in their own countries and delivered their opinions to policymakers. The outcome of the workshop and the cooperation we achieved were published in Japan. We have received many positive feedbacks on the initiative for gender equality through sports. We are now making short video for the open symposium, both Japanese and English. Hopefully, the short clip will reach many different audiences across the region. We expect Japan and ASEAN to continue to have discussion on this topic in the future. The next slide, please. The next step is following this. Execution plan of each country's action plan is followed up at the Japan-ASEAN meeting on women and sports. Initiatives for women and sports in each country will be reported at the meeting. Young female leaders who participated in the workshop will be supported to their government so that they can continue their activities and involved in policy making. Also, their opinions are collected to reflect them in policies. The ASEAN Secretariat is now having having this event, which is also one of the follow-up event for this workshop. So thank you very much for ASEAN Secretariat to host this event. The outcome also of this project will be reported at the 2020 IWG World Conference on Women and Sports, hopefully, which will be held in New Zealand coming May. So we will continue to communicate with the global audience, global conference, if we can share this our project to the more international audience. So this is all my presentation. Thank you very much for your listening, and thank you so much for your active participation for the workshop. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Aya Noguchi, for the valuable insights. It is always an honor to learn from the experts. So we thank you very much once again. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now is the moment that you all have been waiting for. We will now start the talk show with our 10 ASEAN Women Sports Ambassadors. Please join me in welcoming the 10 inspirational sport ambassadors. The first one, we have bronze medalists in the 29th and 30th SEA Games from Brunei Darussalam, joining us all the way from London, Her Royal Highness Princess Azima Nikmatul Bolkiah. Good morning to you, Your Royal Highness. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, good afternoon to you.
Okay, thank you. We will
Thank
talk
you.
later, Princess. And secondly, the World Volvinem Championship gold medalist from Cambodia, live from Phnom Penh, Socha Pov. Let's say hello to Nana. Hi, Nana.
Hello, everyone from Cambodia.
Hello.
Hello.
We will talk later, all right? Next up, we have the 2018 and 2019 Best Para Badminton Female Player of the Badminton World Federation, our Tokyo 2020 Paralympic gold medalist, Leani Ratri Oktila from Indonesia. Mbak Ratri, nice to meet you again, Mbak.
Halo, sehat. Terima kasih.
Thank you. All right, now joining us from Vientiane, the swimming head coach for Lau PDR Olympic team, Sulampon Kerla. Hello, Kat. Can you please turn on your camera so we can see your pretty face? Okay. Hey, Kat.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. Hello, good
Hi.
afternoon, everyone. I don't know what happened with my camera, but
It's
I
okay.
did turn on.
Don't forget to turn on your camera later, okay?
Yes, here.
All right, live from
Yeah, from
Kuala
Laos.
Lumpur. Our SEA Games 2015 gymnastic gold medalist Farah and Abdul Hadi from Malaysia. Hi, Farah.
Hello, hi everyone. I'm so happy to be here today.
Apa kabar?
Kabar baik.
Okay. See you later. Don't go anywhere. Next up is the Taekwondo referee at the Rio 2016 and Taekwondo athlete from Myanmar, Soso Myar. Hey, Soso.
Hi everyone. Hi everyone. I'm so excited to be with you all here.
Me too. All right, see you in a minute. Next in line, joining us all the way from the other side of the world at the United States, is the world's #1 junior foils fencer and Tokyo 2020 Olympian, Amita Berthier from Singapore. Hey there, Amita.
Hello, everyone. Very nice to
Hello.
meet all of you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here as well. Now we have Thailand's Taekwondo gold medalist at the Tokyo 2020, Panipak Wongpatanakit. Hi, Well.
สวัสดีค่ะ
Sawadika. How are you?
Yeah I'm fine and ค่ะรู้สึกตื่นเต้นแล้วก็ดีใจมากๆค่ะขอบคุณค่ะ
See you in a minute. All right. And from Vietnam, joining from the Ho Chi Minh City, the 4 consecutive Taekwondo gold medalist, at SEA Games. Tuyet Vang Cho from Vietnam. Hello, Vang.
Yes, hello everyone. Good afternoon. Very nice to meet you all. Hope you to enjoy the talk. Yes.
Okay, we'll see you in a minute. Right. We also have an expert in gender equality who will join us as commentator. So please give a warm welcome to UN Women Country Representative, Indonesia and liaison to ASEAN in Jakarta, Mr. Jamshed Kazi. Please join us on stage. Let's give a round of applause for Mr. Kazi. All right, but before that, I think, sorry. Good afternoon, Mr. Kazi.
Good afternoon. Hello. Can you hear me?
Okay, maybe you have to put the mic inside.
Okay.
Exactly.
There we go. Thank you.
Yes.
Just learning the tricks of this new sort of technique. Wonderful to be here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Such an honor for us. And ladies and gentlemen, there's also the first Filipino to ever win an Olympic gold medal for her country. Our weightlifter, Heidelin Diaz. Hi, Heidelin.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
Beautiful,
Hello.
beautiful. Hello. Okay, we will talk in a minute, okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, sport is a powerful platform to foster gender equality and empower women and girls. One of the key priorities of the ASEAN sports sector is to strengthen the role of women in sports at all levels based on the principles of gender equality. Women's achievements and leadership sports as male-dominated field can give a strong perspective in promoting gender equality. I believe women athletes can serve as inspirational role models for young girls around the world, especially in ASEAN. So, the first one I would like to ask Your Royal Highness Azima. Princess Azima, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. May I ask you who inspired you to pursue a career in sports?
Well, I have always been passionate about sports, and I've watched my father play polo from a very young age, and I've always looked up to him. So he inspired me to play, really. We share the same passion for horses, and polo was all around me when I was growing up, so taking it up was inevitable. And I guess my parents played quite a significant role in my journey, as they were always very supportive and encouraging, and I think that is important. They were always open to whatever I was passionate about. So long as I worked for it, I did it with conviction and assert myself. And that had such a powerful impact on my mindset. And that gave me the confidence to pursue a career in sports.
So to have supportive family is also important, yeah, to pursue your
think
career.
I think so. I think that is really important to have.
Thank you, Princess, for your answer.
Thank you.
And can I ask you, Nana? Nana from Cambodia, can you hear me? Nana? Hi,
Yes, I
Nana.
can hear you.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, same question. Who inspired you to pursue a career in sports?
First, I can say that my mom is the one who always support and inspire me in playing sport. First, I only do exercise just for healthy, but after I joined the competition and win the first prize, so I decided to training more harder and start register to get the test and get into the national team. So I am who I am today.
Wow, wow. So thanks, Mom.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, nice. Very inspiring. Next question, I want to go to our athlete from Indonesia, Leani. Hello. Hi. So, Leani,
Halo.
what do sports mean to you, Leani?
Olahraga bagi saya adalah seperti yang orang tua saya katakan waktu itu, ketika saya masih kecil, papa saya sering berkata, orang tua sering berkata, saya tidak ingin, saya tahu belum tentu anak saya menjadi atlet atau juara dunia. Paling tidak dengan berolahraga anak saya bisa sehat.
Yes, that is so true. Healthy, fun, right? And move along to our female coach from Lau PDR.
Yeah.
Kat.
Yeah.
What do
Hello.
sports mean to you, Kat?
The sport, I kind of say the sport means everything for me. Yeah, so I was a swimmer before. I was an athlete before I am doing a coach. For me, sport are what help build a person, a mentality and physically. And like you got life lesson from the sport and friendship. Yeah, and you can reach for the excellence. Yeah, that's everything.
Wow.
And change my life.
Wow.
Thank you.
You can also have friends, family
Yes.
from
Yeah.
sports. Wow, means everything for her.
Everything.
All right, move along to our female referee from Myanmar. So. Same question. What sports means to you? So.
Yes, sport is more than a sport to me. Since I play sports in 11 years old, now sport is a sisterhood to me. I would like to say that because of sport, I can be here with you all. And then because of sport, I can meet a great person. So sport is part of my life. And I can say it's sisterhood to me. Thank you.
Thank you. Amazing answer. So as we can see so far, we can witness strong women who love sports. I love sports as well. Okay, move on to the next question. What is the most significant or memorable moment in your sports career? I want to ask Heidelin. Heidelin from Philippines. Do you have any memorable moment in your sports career?
Hello. My most memorable moment in my sporting career, of course, when I win the gold medal for the Philippines. I did not win for myself only. Of course, this is my dream. This is the dream of my team, the Team HD, and I do this because that's what we really need right now. I'm inspiration to each Filipino.
Wow. Right. Amazing. Next, same questions. I want to ask to Amita from Singapore. Amita, do you have any memorable moment in your sports career?
Hi. Yes.
Hi.
I definitely do. I think qualifying for the Olympics and being there has always been my dream. So being there a few months ago was very unrealistic for me, but I was very proud to represent my nation and can only hope to do better in the future.
Do you have any wish like for the next what do you want to pursue next in your career?
I definitely want to hopefully get a medal in 2024. I'm working towards that, but I have to take it step by step. So I want to increase my rankings in the world ranking and do better in the upcoming competitions.
Okay, thank you. Amazing. Next, I want to ask to Vang. Hello, Vang. Hi,
Yes.
Vang. Hello. Do you have any memorable moments in your sports career, Vang?
Um,
Can you hear me?
yes, my career, my coach.
Your gold medal.
Yes, he always everything to me, help me to good health and inspired me every day support in my family as much as possible.
Congratulations on your gold medal again, Vang. Move along to Farah from Malaysia. Farah.
Hello.
Hey, do you have any memorable moment in your sports career? I think you have
I
one.
think I think for me it was qualifying and then competing at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. It has always been a dream of mine since I was a little girl to be able to represent Malaysia, and then being one of the first female after 20 years to qualify in gymnastics to Tokyo was such an amazing opportunity for me, and also such an amazing opportunity to Malaysia to show that we are a strong country at the Olympics. And I'm just very proud to be able to represent women in gymnastics at that stage.
And we all know gymnastic is not easy to do. So, yeah, you're amazing, girl. Okay, now let's talk about the importance of education and training to ensure the future of female athletes. The heyday of athletes in the world of sports is limited by time. Sometimes athletes get injured so they can no longer participate in competitions or sporting events. Progressive education and training designs for athletes are important to make sure athletes can have a long career. So, now, what are the biggest challenges you had in your career as a woman, and how did you manage them? Heidelin, you're a weightlifter, so I know there are a lot of
Yes.
challenges, right?
Yes,
How
yeah,
can
there's
you?
a lot of challenges, of course. My sports is, been known for here, especially here in the Philippines, like it's for men only. And I started doing weightlifting. My mom is not supporting me because, when you do weightlifting, they will say like, oh, you won't get pregnant because you get, the, then no one gonna like you because your muscle will get big. So there's some like stereotypes like that. But again, um, as an athlete, it's quite different when you're a woman. Not everyone can understand you. And now it's also good that we excel as a woman, as Asian athletes. We excel in Olympics, and we show to them, to anyone, that we can do also. We can be the best of ourselves.
Wow, you really need to fight the stereotypes as well, yeah? Yeah, yeah, yeah. We women has a lot of stereotypes going on, but it's so good that you can manage them. Good job, Hydlin. Next, same question to Farah from Malaysia. Farah.
I think for me, there are actually two types of the challenges that we go through as an athlete. Firstly, of course, was injuries and coming back from major injuries, because especially as an athlete, our bodies are important. And when we get injured, it really can hinder our performance. I think the second being as a woman, I think media coverage can be quite biased towards a woman in my sport, especially for me being a gymnast. We are always sometimes negatively talked about instead of praising our performance. It is our outfits or how we look, and that is what is shown in the media. So those are some of the obstacles that I personally have been and have gone through But I have always believed that we should always do the best that we can and strive and give positive messages out. And I think that is some of the barriers that I've tried to break to bring a more positive light for women in sports.
Couldn't agree more. That is so true. You're also smart, not just strong, but also smart. Amazing. Okay, next question. I want to go to Kat. Hi, Kat from Lao PDR. Kat, do you have any ideas to improve coaching and training system, especially for women athletes? Sorry, I think your microphone is still on mute. It's okay. It's okay.
Sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Please. Could you repeat the question, please? Again. Yeah.
okay, the question is, do you have any ideas as coach? You're a coach, right? So do you have any ideas to improve coaching and training system, especially for women athletes?
All right. Thank you for question. As a coach, well, at the first thing, like you need to show them that a sport is fun. When they know that sport fun, they're gonna come and play, especially the women. The women not, especially in my country, the young girl, women, they not confident. They not feel free, and they're not really dare to do the like the hard thing. Sometimes the sport can be hard. Sometimes the sport can be fun, and you can enjoy with them. And the first thing I think they should know about fun, about the sport. Come to sport and you have fun, and then we can adapt the way of coaching, the way to coach them to turn, to play and turn to a sport, and then let them enjoy with the doing the sport, and then they're gonna love the sport. It's my experience. I like fun when I come to, okay, I'm swimming coaching. Yeah, I love swimming. I love sport. I love to be in the water. And then I don't know when I become the swimmers before, and then yeah, so that's
So,
the answer.
okay. Do you think is there any sports that women cannot do, Kat?
Is there any sport at I don't think so.
Exactly. So women can do any sports in the world,
Any
right?
sport, yeah, any
Exactly.
sport,
We're
because
strong enough
now,
to do
yeah,
that.
yeah, a woman
Yeah.
can have a power. A woman can can do what a man do now. It's
Yes.
about a equality of the woman and a man. So all the men have to know about this.
Take a note,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah, take a
Right.
note. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for answering my question. And now we're moving along to Mr. Kazi. We have like a serious question for you, right? So we all know that the media now has been publishing more articles about male athletes, right? The best example is the publicity of men's football and women's football, right? In some sports, male athletes will even receive higher pay than female athletes. The thing is, data speaks that all three gold medals of Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games in ASEAN came from women athletes from Heidelin, from WEW, and Indonesia's badminton doubles player. But I don't think this has been highlighted before. Do you think so?
You're absolutely right. But let me just start by saying it's really an honor and privilege for me to be here, and congratulations to ASEAN in partnership with the Japan Sports Agency and Juntendo University for organizing this talk show across time zones, across so many logistical challenges. And I know one of our athletes from Singapore, Amita, is up in the middle of the night in the US, so that shows you commitment to be
Super.
here. It's a very good question, and you're absolutely right. I will also say that sitting here, I am starstruck I'm starstruck because these are phenomenal athletes and these are Olympians. And I don't think I would be any more starstruck or any, you could be sitting next to Lionel Messi or Naomi Osaka. For me, it's the same. These women need to be a household name, and they need to be known for their sport and their craft. It's really quite amazing. Now, coming to your actual question, which is, sport really has the capacity to as we've heard, empower women and girls.
True.
And of course, we recognize that sports for women and girls is increasingly gaining international recognition all around the world. But even so, I think it's also important to recognize that the Tokyo Olympics actually has been historically one of the most equal Olympics in the world in terms of women's and men's participation. So almost 49%. And I think similarly, the ASEAN countries also fielded many women participants to the Olympics, and it was, I believe, around 40%. That being said, there's still a long way to go. You mentioned the attention. Women form about 40% of the participants in sports, but when it comes to media attention, only 4% of media coverage is actually around women's sports.
4%?
That's just 4%. So it is not surprising, therefore, many of us may not have heard many of the top names, top female athletes. It doesn't mean they deserve any less. It doesn't mean they've worked any less hard. It doesn't mean anything apart from just the fact that they have not gotten that level of important exposure. And just to say that since the start of COVID-19, women athletes have faced an even more precarious situation regarding their contracts, condition of training, media representation. So we really need to work much more closely with media to try and set this balance right. Why is that men's sports gets 96% of coverage? As consumers, we should also demand the question. And I think many more, if I remember, when the women's soccer team in the US was playing, I think they had greater turnout than even the men's soccer team. And it also shows, like you said, yes, indeed, we have women athletes bringing home more medals. So why don't we have more attention? It's a very valid question. So, and again, one of the athletes mentioned that we do have double standards in media. So when a man is playing fabulously well, they will talk to him about the performance, and sometimes you see a woman athlete being asked a question. So what are your next plans? When are you getting married? They never ask a man that. So I think this is something that I'm sure some of the athletes on with us today would also kind of be able to. It will resonate with them. So we really have to. We need more voices like this, more talk shows like this. So so that we can challenge these stereotypes and in a male-dominated field.
Yes, I agree. I couldn't agree more. So important to make it equal, right? Gender equality. And what do you think the stakeholders can do to create a more enabling environment for female sports professionals?
Sorry, is that a question for me too?
Another question for you, sir.
What was the question again?
What do you think the stakeholders can do to create a more enabling environment for female sports professionals? The stakeholders.
Well, I think all of us have a role to play. I think as those in the audience, those who go to sports, arenas, we need to demand greater coverage. We need to value our women athletes more. We need to also hold to account the various sports associations to make sure that the facilities, the infrastructure for training is provided on an equal footing. Sometimes we see that maybe men get more time to train. They get paid more to train. And the facilities, even in terms of the pay, I know that there is a disparity. There's quite a lot of disparity across the board in terms of what the allowances the men get versus the women. So we have those imbalances, and then of course we have to, one of the things I've noticed, and this is an informal, it's not a scientific experiment, but oftentimes when I've met exceptional women leaders in the private sector, in government, I often ask them, Madam, did you play sports as a child? And I tell you what, 60 to 70% of the time, the most successful woman in industry, the most successful woman in CEOs, the most successful woman in government said, yes, I did. And I think that tells you something that if you're a sportswoman, you face tremendous adversity, you fight your way, you negotiate hard, you're trained in negotiation, you're trained in multitasking, you're trained in perseverance, you're trained in teamwork. Who doesn't want an employee like that? I would hire a person like that in a heartbeat. So I'm saying for all those out there, athletes, and I know these athletes are, after a while, they will eventually, look for other career options. I will simply say, know that your CV as a sportswoman, as an Olympian, will serve you very well in whatever job you want to do next.
Wow, I do sports as well.
Great.
Yeah, but I'm not an athlete, but okay lah.
It's okay. As long as you do sports, we're interested in you.
Thank you. See, that's amazing. So do sports, woman, more sports. That's good for you, not only for your health, but also for your career, right? Okay, so before this talk show, I actually learned about sports diplomacy and the important role of athletes. As a diverse region, ASEAN is working towards prosperity and peace. In the past 2 years, ASEAN has also been focusing on addressing the impacts of COVID-19, not just the disease itself, but also like fake news, misinformation, and mental health. Female athletes as influencers help spread positive messages, such as promoting healthy lifestyle, and can cultivate a sense of shared identity like we are one community. So I want to ask to our athletes here. Now my question is, what are your aspirations or ideas for ASEAN in terms of using sports to help empower women and our communities in general, especially during the pandemic? Let's go to Heidelin from Philippines. Heidelin? Sorry, I think you have to unmute your microphone first.
Okay, sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, the ideas for Asian in terms of using sports, maybe make more like what the other panelists said, like make more sports enjoyable and give it more platform for women in sports. And when we do sports, just give us like the space or give us the the platform to represent our country. And that's what we need right now. We need the support when we're there. We need as an athlete, what we really need is not only the support when we're winning or when we're there competing, but what we really need is when the preparation.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what yeah.
Thank you, thank you.
And also, I just want to say, during this pandemic, we need the in community being here, the women fighting for stereotypes, fighting the training, the hard struggles in training. We give inspiration to for us in Filipino. Everyone is suffering right now during pandemic, and being here, we give inspiration to other people. We give hope.
Thank you for a wonderful answer. Well, hello, Well from Thailand. Hi. What are your aspirations or ideas for ASEAN in terms of using sports to help empower women and our communities in general, especially during the pandemic? Well.
ค่ะก็สำหรับผู้หญิงนะคะก็ อยากบอกว่าเป็นเพศที่อ่อนโยนค่ะแต่ว่าเปลี่ยนไปด้วยพลังที่มีความเข้มแข็งค่ะก็อยากจะเป็นตัวแทนบอกว่าให้ผู้หญิงทุกคนมั่นใจในตัวเองค่ะเพราะว่าในตอนเด็กๆค่ะตอนนั้นก็เข้ามาเริ่มเล่นกีฬาค่ะมีแต่คนบอกว่าเราทำไม่ได้ค่ะเริ่มจากการที่พูดก่อนเลยว่าเราทำไม่ได้ทั้งที่ยังไม่รู้เลยว่าเราสามารถทำอะไรได้บ้างเพราะฉะนั้นก็อยากจะให้ผู้หญิงทุกคนมั่นใจในตัวเองค่ะแล้วก็กล้าลงมือทำกล้าที่จะทำในสิ่งที่ตัวเองฝันค่ะแล้วก็ขอเป็นกำลังใจให้กับทุกๆคนเลยค่ะ
ขอบคุณครับ Thank you for your answer. All right. Beautiful, beautiful. And the next question I want to ask our athletes from Indonesia, Leani. As we are also commemorating the International Day of Persons with Disabilities, and given your achievements as a parasports athlete, what do you think we should do more to create more avenues in sports for persons with disabilities? And I noted that COVID-19 has been affecting the convening of some parasports events. Is that true, Leani? Sorry, Leani, can you please unmute your microphone, please?
Terima kasih.
Thank you.
Dengan adanya Hari Disabilitas Internasional, saya merasa untuk teman saya dan teman-teman disabilitas merasa diapresiasi karena keberadaan teman-teman disabilitas sudah disamaratakan atau penyamaratakan yang disabilitas dan non-disabilitas. Untuk tersebut, mungkin di kami para atlet disabilitas mungkin saat ini masih cukup iri dengan teman-teman atlet yang non-disabilitas yang kita bisa lihat bersama di media bagaimana padatnya kegiatan setiap atlet non-disabilitas untuk mengikuti kejuaraan, sedangkan beberapa event dari kami atlet paralimpik atau atlet disabilitas yang harus cancel karena pandemi. Kita sadari kalau pandemi saat ini adalah dilalui oleh semua negara, tapi beberapa event di-cancel, sedangkan yang non-disabilitas bisa terlaksana, mungkin itu menjadi kesedihan tersendiri untuk kami atlet disabilitas.
Yeah, so it is really a challenge for female and disabled and everything now. So pandemic is ruining everything, basically. So thank you for being so strong, Leani, and everyone here. So I want to ask Mr. Kazi now about elimination of violence and harassment in sports. Violence and abuse are all too often part of the female athlete's experience. That's what we heard. Some narratives out there often highlight the sexuality and personal life of the female athletes rather than their achievements. What do you think sports personalities like our ambassadors today and everyone else in the industry can do to influence ASEAN's regional development programs, particularly in gender equality, such as supporting the implementation of ASEAN Regional Action Plan on the Elimination of Violence Against Women, or RAP-EVAL?
Thank you. This is a very important question. I think some of our athletes, they have touched upon it. We live in a situation where only a few years ago, the whole campaign around Me Too exploded on the global scene. Of course, it started first in Hollywood, but I think pretty much every woman across the world can in some way relate. And I think this is also true for the world of sports, and how this also has affected women's lives. Whether it's domestic violence issues that may be faced at home, whether it is sometimes challenges around sexual harassment, during training or coaching. We've seen plenty of examples across the world, and this this is a tremendously difficult and can be traumatic experience that women athletes have to go through. You know, exactly forums such as this, where I think women do speak out, are able to voice their experiences, but it's also very difficult to do because there are often very long-term consequences for their careers. And we understand that it's a very difficult thing to do, but it hurts all of us, and it hurts the sporting world when these things go unnoticed. So I think the good news is that this is being taken more seriously. There are increasingly sports organizations, justice systems and countries are taking this matter more seriously. There are charges being placed. But I think it's important for women athletes to speak up when they themselves are survivors or victims, but also they can be very powerful advocates to take up the issue of gender-based violence in other fields. So for instance, in our ASEAN region, we know that we do struggle with issues around child marriage. And I'm sure there is lots of pressure on young women to get married earlier and not pursue sports or pursue advanced studies. And I think it's the voices of these women and their own personal experiences. By being stars, by being influencers, many other kids and young women look up to them, and they want to be like them. And I think that helps them in deferring decisions around marriage, around having children, and pursuing their careers and dreams. So I think it's twofold. We, on one hand, have to look after these athletes and their well-being, make sure that they are free from violence of any kind, but also make sure that they also see this issue as something they have a role and responsibility to speak up against across the region. And I will just say that we are right now in the middle of what we call 16 days of activism, which starts on the 25th of November until 10th of December. These 16 days are days that UN Women and many other partners around the world, we commemorate the ending violence against women and girls. So you will hear much more from us and on social media. And we're also very happy that we have ASEAN being a champion, and also with the regional action plan in eliminating violence against women. So at the policy level, this is also something we take seriously. But again, we offer our support to all athletes out there, sports. Feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to always hear from you, and we're happy to work together to try and end this, what we call shadow pandemic. It's not just COVID, but violence against women is also the other pandemic that we don't talk much about. Thank you.
Can we hear a round of applause? That's a really, really amazing answer. Thank you. Thank you. There's a hope, okay? Sports actually give a birth to hope for young women and being inspired by the female athletes nowadays. So now I would like to get back to our sports ambassadors and talk about post-career programs. I learned that sports industry will be explored as one of the areas under ASEAN-Japan cooperation in near future. Ideally, this field offers capacity building and job opportunities, including for women and girls. At the ASEAN-Japan Workshop on Gender Equality in Sports in August 2021, as presented by Aya Sang earlier, sports stakeholders need to think beyond women's achievement, but also women's leadership and career paths in sports. So I would like to ask Your Royal Highness, Azima.
Yes, what would the question be?
What advice do you have for women and girls who want to start their sports career?
I would say go for it. You just have to trust it. You got to follow your passion and don't let anyone or anything stand in the way of your passion and goals. Also, you just really have to ultimately believe in yourself. Believe you can achieve things, and anything is possible, but you need to be prepared to put in the hard work and never ever give up. I think what is also important is to have a good support system around you. It isn't always going to be an easy road. You need a good team of people around you, and it's going to be about getting back up and how you react to that bump in the road that ultimately determines your future. So be persistent, and it is the courage to continue that counts.
Thank you, Princess Azima. Same question goes to Amita from Singapore. Is there any advice you have for women and girls who want to start their career in sport?
Yeah, I think Princess Azima made very valid points. I think it's very important to never hold back on what you want to do, especially just because you're born a female doesn't mean that you shouldn't pursue sports and what you love to do. I agree with the point of having a very strong support system. My parents have been an amazing, core and foundation for me to pursue my sport, and without them, I wouldn't have been able to be where I am today. But I think also having a community and federations who encourage females to do the sports that they want to do can help a lot. And since a lot of us are using social media in this day and age, media representation is very crucial. So I think as the more that social media promotes females in sports, the better and the more resources females are going to be able to get to pursue and do what they genuinely love to do.
Thank you, Amita. And next, Well from Thailand. Do you have any advice for women and girls who wants to start the career in sports? Well.
ค่ะอย่างที่บอกค่ะว่าตัวหนูค่ะเริ่มเล่นจากการที่มีร่างกายไม่แข็งแรงค่ะ
Baik, tunggu sebentar rekan-rekan.
ค่ะแล้วก็อยากให้เอาชนะขีดความสามารถของตัวเองค่ะแม้กระทั่งร่างกายที่อ่อนแอใน
Apa yang kita bisa lakukan?
Back then, maybe you may not strong enough, but you can increase your strength when you do it, when you actually do it.
Yes, I agree. I agree with you. Thank you so much, Well. Okay, next I want to ask Kat from Lao PDR. Learning from your experience, how can we do better in normalizing and strengthening women's leadership in sports? Kat.
Well, thank you for your question. Yeah, for my idea, I think based on my experience and I think we need to educate a woman and a girl to know about the sport, to know what is sport, what the meaning of the sport, and so we need to give the opportunity to let them into the sport, and this is very important. And otherwise, they will not know what is sport means, why we need to do sport, why we have to be a leadership or something. So yes, I think the promote is very important, because, for example, in my country, we think we need to give the opportunity for them to promote, educate, and let them know more about the sport. Yeah, I think so.
So more education.
Yeah, about the sport. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So from Myanmar, same question. From your experience, how can we do better in normalizing and strengthening women's leadership in sports? So.
In terms of strengthening the women leadership in sports, I would like to say my own personal idea that we should encourage the young women and men. Even we were in athletes, we can grab gold medal like men athletes, and also we can compete as men athletes. After in the leadership role, women also can do as men as well. That's why we have to encourage the young women and young girls to believe themselves and they have a capable. And I would like to say that, so one more thing is, women, please think about it. Please stick on the table. And then thinking about that, we share the information each other. We should inspire each other. For myself, I will inspire by only not the woman from our country. I mean, become a sport administrator and a referee because it's inspired by one of the women referee from Thailand. Because of her, I become a referee. This is the inspired across the country, right? And then sometimes we have to be a mentor, and sometimes we should be a mentee. So we can support each other in our region so that we can strengthen the leadership scale in our sport industry. Thank you.
Thank you, So. Wonderful answer. Now, last but definitely not least, about the impacts of COVID on sport. With the emerge of COVID-19 new variant, Omicron, the sports industry that is starting to build back still have to anticipate future challenges like conversion of games into digital platforms and even the growth of esports. In this regard, what do you wish to see in the sports industry for the success of ASEAN's women athlete and athletes in general in the future? May I ask Heidelin? Heidelin? Okay. Maybe Nana first? Nana from Cambodia. Okay.
Yes.
Hi. Are you Nana or
Hello.
Heidelin?
Yes.
Hi. Okay, Nana. What do you wish to see in the sports industry for the success of ASEAN's women athletes and athletes in general in the future?
Well, for my idea, ASEAN should have promoting visible role model of women athletes excelling on the pitch and in the big competition by create more talk show like what we are doing today in order to inspire and also empower women to community and to the world to let them know and hear and see what that women also have their own ability and they can excel the highest level in role as an athlete. Thank you.
Thank you, Nana. And maybe I want to ask to Your Royal Highness, Azima, what do you wish to see in the sports industry for the success of ASEAN's women athletes and athletes in general in the future? Princess.
I think the sports industry has definitely learned a lot from the pandemic. And it has been quite a challenging time, but I think a lot of sports industries are now constantly improving in terms of safety and organization. And I think one huge thing that came out during the pandemic is the power of the sports industry and how it has come to the forefront and how it has shown that it can become a platform for change. Like, for example, high profile athletes, big teams have reached out worldwide to promote key messages and help influence behavior. So I wish for this to continue, and it can also be used as a platform to probably further conversation and a platform to help inspire and educate.
Thank you, Princess. Wonderful answer. And again, thank you to all our sports ambassadors. Thank you, Mr. Kazi, for sharing all the insightful stories, ideas, and empowering messages. Next, we will start the Q&A session with the sports ambassadors and Mr. Kazi as well. All right? So please get your questions ready. Then you can drop your questions in the Q&A box or YouTube live chat. Most interesting questions will be chosen and answered by the sport ambassadors and commentator. All right, let's see the questions that we already have until now from the audience. Do we have any questions from the audience? Okay. So just move on to the summary then, if we don't have any questions from the audience. All right, then. That bring us, maybe because of we run off the time. Yeah, it's 5 points of summary, not questions. Do you have questions? If we don't have any questions, I will just move on to the summary from today's conversation. Okay. Are we running out of time? Okay. While we're waiting for the questions from the audience, maybe I will tell you some summary that I already have from the conversation today. Supportive or not supportive, family has been playing a strong role in inspiring women athletes to keep pursuing careers in sports and working hard towards their dreams. Right? Confidence and good support system are key to success. Yeah, that's the first summary that I have. Okay. So, there's a question from YouTube. Sorry, can I just have that here? I cannot see. Okay, from Nadia Halim. Hi, from Brunei here. This question is for the Princess Azima. What can I do to stay motivated to achieve my goal? Princess Azima.
Hi, Nadia. Thanks for your question. I think the most important thing is that you have to be passionate and you have to have passion in what you want to achieve, and it is more likely that you will achieve your goal. And you are probably more likely to stay motivated if you're working towards something that you genuinely want, and you want it for yourself rather than what other people want for you. And I think keep it positive. Positive thoughts lead to positive actions, and take control of how you feel and how you think. And I think you will definitely make the right choices to achieve your goals. And also probably be consistent so you can always keep up the momentum.
Thank you for your answer, Princess Azima. Do we have any other questions? Okay, we're still waiting for other questions. While waiting, there's also another summary that I got from this very amazing conversation between the athletes and Mr. Kazi. More platforms, infrastructure, and opportunities. Okay. Right. I think we have another question. And thank you again. Okay, so from the audience, is there any question from the audience here? We have our 10 women athletes and also Mr. Kazi here. Maybe you guys need, there's something that you want to know from the athletes and from Mr. Kazi. Feel free to ask. This is like a really rare moment. All right, it's okay, take your time. I don't think there's a question. Okay, the lady on the back, please state your name and the question, please. Thank you. Boleh bahasa Indonesia, bahasa Inggris?
Bahasa.
Bahasa boleh. Mau ke siapa pertanyaannya?
Ke Mr. Kazi.
Ke Mr. Kazi, oke.
Terkait kekerasan terhadap atlet perempuan dan berkaca dari kasus petenis China Peng Shuai yang ramai dibicarakan belakangan ini, apakah ASEAN mempunyai platform bagi atlet perempuan yang untuk speak up seperti itu, yang mengalami kekerasan seksual, apakah mungkin dalam bentuk pendampingan secara psikologis, mental seperti itu, atau dalam hukum, secara hukum gitu untuk pengajuan ya.
Terima kasih.
Okay, I'm not sure I can, I'm not in a position to respond on ASEAN's behalf. What I can say, I mean, for UN Women certainly, we, and the UN system generally, there is zero tolerance for sexual harassment. I know, for instance, many countries in the ASEAN region have instituted stronger laws and regulations, and I take note with appreciation that Indonesia recently has a ministerial regulation by the Minister of Education on prevention of sexual harassment on the college campuses, which is a very, very welcome step. But I think this is still, generally when we talk about sexual harassment, there needs to be more comprehensive legislation. Some countries have it, some countries don't. Particularly to address issues. It's not unique to the sport area only. It's anyone who is working in the offices, if you're on the way to your school, on the way to the bus station, wherever you are. I think there needs to be completely zero tolerance. Some companies also are increasingly looking at this issue. So I think this is something that these sports associations need to take on board. Of course, there is a ASEAN regional plan of action. So there is a policy framework. But ultimately, it is going to be the responsibility of the various governments in the region. And also, we as individuals need to take action. So you, me, everyone in this room, when we see something that is inappropriate, we should not be passive bystanders. We should take action. We should make sure that the person, that there is some consequences. So it's a very difficult issue, I understand. I know there is lots of challenges that we face. Many athletes are facing it today as you speak. But we just have to continue to raise our voices and make sure that we ensure that we don't create this enabling environment. Thank you.
Thank you. Mau saya translate, Mbak? Oke, saya translate. Tidak usah? No, I can do that. Tapi Mr. Kazi tidak bisa berbicara atas nama ASEAN karena beliau adalah perwakilan dari UN. Jadi menurut Mr. Kazi, semua sebenarnya bukan hanya di sport aja, tapi di beberapa aspek dalam kehidupan kita juga butuh berhati-hati dengan adanya sexual harassment. Gitu. Karena hari ini membahas mengenai sports, jadinya hanya sport saja sepertinya, tapi sebenarnya di semua aspek dalam kehidupan kita harus berhati-hati dan pastinya harus ada kolaborasi antara organisasi yang ada di dunia ini untuk melindungi wanita dari sexual harassment, bukan hanya dari UN, bukan hanya dari UNESCO, tapi dari semua UNESCO, bukan hanya dari ASEAN, tapi semuanya termasuk kita semua yang ada di sini, kira-kira seperti itu. Alright, next question. Coming from YouTube live chat, Relia Nabila. What is the advice or motivation for young people in particular to stay consistent with what we are doing today, such as exercising? Because humans certainly have a sense of laziness. All right, what is your advice? Question from Relia Nabila. Who wants to answer this? How can we fight laziness maybe we can ask our coach here. Coach, can you unmute your mic first, please? Kat?
Hi, yes, I'm here. Well, could you repeat again the question?
Basically, how can we fight the laziness as a
Laziness.
human? How can we consistently exercising?
ยังไม่เห็นค่ะถามว่าอะไรนะคะ
Kat?
Yes. Yeah. You mean like how to you mean exercises like?
Yeah. How to
To
not
do-
be lazy? How
Not
to
be lazy.
always consistently exercising and not to be a couch potato, basically.
Well, I have that in my team actually.
So how can we
So-
be consistent?
Can I give an example at my swim team?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I do it with my team. I will have the lazy lane for the boy or for the athlete who really lazy, who really like doesn't want to do follow the programs, and yeah, I just put him or put them to the lazy lane, and then I put the sign lazy lane. Yeah. So if they are in a lazy lane, they're gonna feel like I'm embarrassing, and well, people gonna see, people gonna look at me that I'm lazy, and yeah, that's something that
Or
they
like
need
walk
to
of shame.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
I did that to my swimmers. Yeah,
Okay,
but now lazy lane is quite empty.
She's a very disciplined
So,
coach.
yeah,
Okay.
I yes, right. I
Okay.
did that to my team, and also I have a son as well, and he's not really in exercises, and so I will put like what to say, consequence, that how if you don't do this, what is consequence to for you after. Yeah, so we have to find out what they like, what they need, like get into their head, how to get laziness out of them. So we need to find out something that to make them more interesting, more want to be into it, want to play, want to do exercise, and then put some fun for them as well. Yeah, some fun in the exercises. Or you can create the activity. If they're lazy, okay, guys, let's do this, do this. Yeah, that what I deal, and I deal with my team and my kids. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you, Kat. So find the fun in it, right? So
Yeah.
you're not going to be lazy to do it.
Yeah.
Same questions, if I may ask to Your Royal Highness Azima. How can we stay consistent and fight our laziness as a human being?
I think echoing what was just said, I think you got to find something you enjoy and you got to keep it fun. And I suppose you could start probably slowly. You got to break your probably goals up, see the bigger picture later, but break it up. So you can start like, trying to go for a walk for like 20 minutes and then kind of build from that. And I think you might surprise yourself and you might actually start to enjoy being more active, and I can assure you that you will. So I think in that way, that's a good way to start. So kind of start slow, step by step. And I think once you feel the benefits and the positive impact it will have in your well-being, and I think you would definitely do a lot more of it.
It's a really nice advice. Start slow.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Royal Highness Azima. And next question is from YouTube live chat box. It's from, I'm sorry if I misspelled or mispronounced this, Hun Tran Hui. The question is, when participating in exercise, what is your biggest pressure and what is the biggest motivation that motivates you to practice and overcome social pressure to be successful? Thank you so much. Maybe Amita from Singapore can help me to answer this question.
Yeah, I think that's a tremendous question. I think that's a question that all athletes or anybody that has to sacrifice something in life thinks about on the daily. For me, I try to find a good balance with maintaining my sport, exercising regularly, and also with my social life in terms of seeing my friends, my family, and balancing also school at the same time. I think one thing we can do is you always have to set goals for yourself. You always have to know what you need to prioritize, what you know is important for your life. And if you surround yourself with people that understand your career, your life, and your goals, then that wouldn't be a problem. Because if for say like you have to go for practice one day and you have to miss out on a meal with your friends, I'm sure they will understand because they know that the end goal in mind is to qualify for the Olympics or medal at the SEA Games. So I think finding yourself a really solid group of friends and family that understand and support your journey will be very crucial in helping you having that balance in life.
Thank you. Thank you for your amazing answer. And same question I want to ask Leani from Indonesia. What is the biggest motivation that motivates you to practice and overcome social pressure to be successful? Leani.
Hal yang memotivasi saya untuk bisa sukses atau paling tidak bisa sampai titik seperti sekarang adalah dorongan dari orang tua, dari keluarga, bagaimana mereka mensupport saya ketika saya harus tinggal di platnas jauh dari orang tua, ketika saya sedang rindu, atau tepatnya setiap atlet yang manusiawi adalah merasa malas, tapi bagaimana cara keluarga mensupport saya, dan itu saya jadikan motivasi bahwa saya tidak ingin apa yang saya lakukan dalam proses latihan jauh dari keluarga dan capek dalam setiap harinya itu sia-sia. Makanya saya sering menyibukkan diri di tengah-tengah waktu latihan yang saya pagi dan sore latihan, di siang hari atau di malam hari saya gunakan untuk privat atau paling tidak saya mengikuti pendidikan lagi. Begitu cara saya untuk memotivasi diri saya sendiri agar saya tidak terpuruk dalam rasa malas itu yang menjerumuskan saya.
Okay. Thank you for your answer. Move along to the next question from YouTube. This question is for Farah from Malaysia and also Her Royal Highness Azima Bolkiah. The question is, if you could change your sport, what would it be and why? Starting from Farah from Malaysia.
For me, I don't think I would ever change my sport because it's my passion and love, and I couldn't imagine myself doing anything else. But maybe if there wasn't gymnastics as a sport at all in the world, I would probably maybe do ice skating. I always found it very beautiful, and I think that would be one of the sports that I would have gone into if I wasn't a gymnast.
Ice skating. Yeah. And kids like it, women like it, young girls like it, like Frozen, the movie, right? Now, same question goes to Princess Azima. If you could change any of your sports, what would it be and why?
To be honest, I don't think I've changed my sport because I'm just so passionate about it, and I've been passionate about it from a very young age. And I think the adrenaline filled, like challenging nature of polo just makes it so incredibly addictive. And I'm constantly learning and growing after every game. So I don't think I change it. And to be honest, it probably not only does polo bring, not only do I like to play polo because of the enjoyment that it brings me, but I think it can quite literally become, I can quite literally become a better person because of it. I have learned many great things over the years, such as kind of trying to be a better teammate, or how to win and lose gracefully, and also furthering skills such as having grit and perseverance, which will only benefit me in other areas of my life. So I don't think I would change my sport.
Yeah, it's okay.
Thank
Just
you.
be pro more and more in your sport now. Thank you so much for your answer, Princess
you.
Azima. Next question came from YouTube live chat box, Anna Prudente. Hi, I want to ask, what have you done to overcome any difficulties you have faced during your journey in sports? With an example, if you can. Maybe we can ask Nana from Cambodia. Hi, Nana. Did
Hello.
you? Hi.
Can
Did
you
you
repeat
hear?
the question again?
Oh, yeah,
Sorry.
sure. So, Ana Prudente wants to ask you about what have you done to overcome any difficulties you have faced during your journey in sports? And if you can give an example, that would be great.
Yes. First, I would like to say that I used to like demotivate, and I used to lose the motivate on playing sport, and I just want to give up on join the competition. But after I try to relax and pause out the question, why I joined with this sport. So I found out the question, the answer that I love it, and especially that Cambodia will be host the SEA Games on 2023. So I just want to be the one of the athletes to join the game and to win the medal in the game and to make my country proud. And so that's why I just want to play and keep training hard for get the gold medal. Yes.
Okay, thank you for your answer. Move along to the next question. We have a lot of questions this afternoon in Jakarta time. It's from Tri Kwang. Hi, I want to ask Miss Tuyet Vang that what is her most memorable memory when playing TKD? Vang, please answer the question from Tri Kwang.
Yes, thanks for your question. It was the first time I got a gold medal at the World Taekwondo Championship in Uzbekistan. My feeling just rose and I was over moon. I also felt really happy and honored to be one to sing the national anthem of my country, to see the Vietnamese flag fly in when I stood on the podium and recite to the highest over. Say then, despite to into pain, I had never had any intention of giving up my passion for Taekwondo. Within me, there is always the strong will, the indomitable spirit of Vietnamese people. Thanks for your question.
Thank you. May your answer inspire all of us here. Okay, now from Shinta Permatasari, Mr. Kazi, you have a question here. Mr. Kazi was saying about how sports can help women to be more confident and resilient. Can the athletes share what is the most valuable quality, character, or lesson you learn from sports? Oh, it's for the athletes. It's okay. So maybe, wow. Hello, well, from Thailand. Well, whoa, she's gone.
ตอนนี้น้องเข้าห้องน้ำครับเดี๋ยวอีกสักครู่หนึ่งนะครับ
Okay, okay. Maybe we can ask Susu from Myanmar.
Yes. Could you repeat could you repeat the question, please?
Yes. Can the athletes share what is the most valuable quality or character or lesson you learn from sports? So.
Yes, being a sport person, first thing you will learn the punctuality because you cannot miss your game, you cannot miss your competition. So you have to prepare yourself to be punctual. Then the second one is you will learn how to respect the rule and how to respect the diversity because in sport world we have every person, we have very religious, we have many diversity. So this is the respect not only to the rule but also to the diversity and culture of our fellow athletes. And then the third one is you will learn how to keep your confidence because all the athletes you already have your confidence to compete in the competition. So this confidence should bring to your social life and then even after your athlete career. So I would like to mention the three things. Did I answer your question?
Yes, of course. Thank you, So. We still have questions from Kaya Lotus for Thailand. I don't know if she's there. She was, Hi, well? You're back. Okay. This is a question from Kaya Lotus for Thailand. Who or what is your inspiration in this career? What is your inspiration?
ค่ะแรงบันดาลใจของ
My inspiration is my father and my family. This is the side since he nicknamed us my sister called bowling, my brother called baseball, and my name is tennis. So our father, he motivated us since we were young and I started my sport career. And the second thing, my late mother, she passed away when I was 7. So my father, he is a single father. We were not rich that time, so getting into sport, it helps support our families too. And the sport take me here today and to the day that I won the golden medal. So I did it for my family and my country. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So your father is your inspiration. That's really amazing. Okay, another question from YouTube, from Rasida Haji Abu Bakar from Brunei. Would like to ask our athletes to comment on the glaring gaps on the training and resources available for athletes in their respective countries. How does this affect athletes' performance as a whole? Maybe Your Royal Highness Azima can help us to answer this question.
Hi, thanks for the question. I think definitely one of the main challenges, especially for polo, was that there was no real performance or fitness training specifically for polo in Brunei. although it's a relatively new thing, fitness and training for polo, it's relatively new in all levels of polo. We didn't have a template or a format to follow. And the only way to improve really for myself was just to train by myself or to just join polo games during the week. But like to overcome that, I got in touch with Dave Alred, and he's an elite performance coach. He's the author of a really good book. It's called The Pressure Principle, and I think it's worth a read. And he's worked with the England rugby team and still works with some of the best professional golfers in the world. So he showed us how to bond better as a team and gave us a routine to follow in terms of to work on our mental and physical game. So that definitely changed the team's outlook and gave us a great insight to our game, and our game just changed dramatically after that. So it made a huge difference.
Thank you, Princess Azima.
Thank you.
That's a really nice answer. Okay, Farah from Malaysia, Masni Bahar from YouTube live chat wants to know, I want to know how you strike a balance between your life, study, and sports. Farah?
Yes, I learned very young to balance especially sports and my education. When I was in high school, my trainings were 7 to 8:30, class from 9:30 to 2:30, training from 3 to 7, and then class at night from 8:30 to 10. And of course, it seems like it was very packed, and it was, but it really allowed me to learn about time management, knowing when you needed to accomplish things, making sure that you had a schedule. And this skill of time management is really something that has helped me even now after my graduate studies. I have a degree. It really did help me through life because I knew when to accomplish things, knew when to schedule things and to achieve them. And it really is making time also for friends and family. And I was very lucky and am very lucky to have friends and family who understand that I'm an athlete. I have a day off on Sundays, so I would usually have family dinners or going out with my friends on Sundays. And that was how I am even now keep a well-balanced social life in between trainings and also having an education.
Thank you, Farah from Malaysia. So that's how you balance your life. Now, question from Zoom, from Sarawut Kamset. How to compete in sport properly within the current spread of COVID-19 situation? Ask Kun Tennis. Okay. Kun Tennis.
ค่ะพูดเลยได้ไหมคะ
From Thailand.
ค่ะค่ะ
Well.
ค่ะก็จะแข่งยังไงให้ปลอดภัยนะคะในช่วงสถาน
To play sports safely during the COVID pandemic. So in the part here, so almost 2 years, we learned a lot about COVID pandemic. So we have to learn and be adapt to live with it and to live with it safely. When I was compete in the Olympic Games, so I need to be better prepared both in the practicing and also competing. And during the practicing,
คือจะซ้อมแบบ
we need a good method for the practice. Like we do this bubble when the athlete practice in the camp. So we practice safely and we warm mats and we cleaned our clean hands most of the times. And when I joined the Olympic Games in Japan, there were many great measures and also social distancing that keep the athletes safe. So I think we can adapt and we can apply the measures from the Olympic Games to the next games or the next competition.
Thank you. Thank you for your answer. And that was the last question So this brings us to the end of the Q&A session. Thank you so much for asking the questions, and thank you so much for the speakers and ambassadors to answer the questions as well. And now I just want to briefly summary the discussion in 5 key points. Maybe if you already heard, I already read one for you, but then I will repeat it again. Supportive or not supportive family has been playing a strong role in inspiring women athletes to keep pursuing careers in sports and working hard towards their dreams. Perseverance, confidence, and good support system are key to success. More platforms, infrastructures, and opportunities are needed to enable women to represent their countries and prepare them for leadership in sports, an enabling environment for them to thrive in sports. Media coverage is an important aspect as well. And next, the pandemic has been affecting para-athletes heavily as para-sports events have been. And athletes should be looked after and facilitated as they are great advocates for gender equality. Remember the 16 days of activism. Right. Once again, thank you to all ambassadors, speakers, and participants for such an engaging discussion. We wish we had more time to get to know the ambassadors and their impressive accomplishments, but now it's time for the final session, which is closing remarks. As we are moving on to the next session, Mr. Kazi, you may wish to proceed back to your seat. Thank you so much for being here. It's a pleasure. Can we give a round of applause for Mr. Kazi and all our ambassadors? Thank you, sir. All right, here with us in the Nusantara Hall to give closing remarks is the Deputy Secretary General of ASEAN for ASEAN Socio-Cultural Community, His Excellency Ekapap Fantavong. Excellency, the floor is yours.
Mr. Tomohiko Arai, Director of the International Affairs Division, Japan Sports Agency, leaders of SOMS Plus Japan. Mr. Jamshed Kazi, UN, UN Women Liaison to ASEAN. Ms. Aja Nokuchi, Assistant Professor of the Japanese Center for Research on the Women in Sport, Juntendo University. Our esteemed women in sports ambassadors from across ASEAN, good afternoon. I would like to thank you all for taking the part in the ASEAN We Scored talk show. I am delighted to see how this initiative has brought together important sports personalities today to exchange ideas and insights on how to foster the women's participation and leadership in sports. And beyond that, how to empower younger women through the sports. As we learned today, slightly more than half of the ASEAN population are women, with 5 out of 10 member states having the higher percentage of the female population. This means empowering the women and girls equal, leveling up the capacity of more than half of the 654 million ASEAN population. As the most gender balanced games since its establishment, the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games is also a historical moment for the ASEAN women in the sports journey, as all of the three gold medals from the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games came from the women athletes. However, learning from our discussion with sports ambassadors and experts, we all need to think beyond women's and girls' achievements in sports activities and competitions. We have to start paying attention to women's leadership and career paths in sports institutions, as well as their safety and protection. Women and girls in the region need full access to the opportunities that will help them to thrive and actively to participate in all dimensions that affect building their livelihoods and independence, including in sports. I would like to thank all the sports ambassadors and the experts who joined us today. Before ending my speech, I would also like to express my sincere appreciation to the government of Japan for the support provided through the Japan ASEAN Integration Fund for this important initiative. I believe the ASEAN #WeScored campaign will chart our way forward towards better participation and leadership of women and girls in sports across ASEAN member states. Thank you, and I wish all our sports ambassadors very success in the years ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Excellency, for the warm closing remarks. Sorry, microphone was off. Now we have come to the end of this talk show. On behalf of ASEAN Secretariat and the organizers, I would like to sincerely thank all of the ambassadors, speakers, commentators, and participants for taking part in today's event. It has been a pleasant surprise and experience to hear inspiring stories and enlightening insights from the ambassadors and expert views from the speakers. To all participants, thank you for your enthusiasm throughout the entire event. We hope you gained a lot of knowledge and had fun at today's talk show. Worry not, because there will be more exciting stories soon. So make sure you are following ASEAN Secretariat social media channels so you won't miss anything. We look forward to seeing you at the next event. Atia Anindita is signing out. Until then, take care and have a nice weekend. We scored!